Hey, hello again. I wanted to say something about last weekend's fight, last Saturday that I watched. First of all, the one that I actually watched live on Saturday was Josh Warrington versus Luis Alberto, I believe, Lopez. Yeah, that was a kind of strange fight. I expected Warrington to just go all out at once and brawl with him, but he seemed kind of too cautious at first. He just boxed a little too much, which is not what he does best, of course. And that kind of cost him the fight, I guess. Although maybe I don't know, it could have been a draw, because I know that Tony Bellew also scored a draw. It was very close, but maybe also I guess Lopez did enough to deserve that a close decision because the judging was good, the scoring was good. So that's kind of that doesn't happen a lot now these days in UK or USA especially, but. It was very good. Thought Warrington he kind of waited till the second half to really bring it on, and then he started doing better. He landed some good shots, but he's not a true puncher, so they didn't have enough effect on Lopez, and also there were several headbutts by Warrington. Even though at least one of them, I guess, looked kind of accidental, more or less, but yeah. No, I think it's a very good thing that because I expected since it was a close fight that they would give it to Warrington, because such as the judging been this disastrous in later years in UK also. We saw that with White versus Franklin recently. Terrible, terrible decision, terrible. Franklin won that fight clear as a day. But since Eddie Hearn had him lined up to fight Anthony Joshua, they just couldn't let Franklin win that fight. But anyway, back to this one. Warrington was just, yeah, I don't know what happened. Because I guess he thought, Lopez is another kind of Mexican fighter or wherever he's from, but I think he's from Mexico or something. He hasn't had much luck against those before, at least one of them, and then he was afraid of kind of, you know, I guess, out punching himself out too soon. So I guess that's why they set up tactics to kind of start slow at first and then pour it on. But that didn't work well enough. So anyway, Warrington is now 31 and 2, and again without a title. So I don't think he will ever win another title. Not very likely. Yeah, I mean, he's always been very limited. He's just an all-out guy, an all-out brawler who doesn't have much power, and that's always a handicap for such fighters. So once that strategy doesn't work, the swarmer strategy, then he has no plan B, and that's why he lost to Lara in the first place. And now he lost to Lopez as well because he was trying something. He was out of his depth. He was trying to box, but he can't simply. He's not a boxer, not a technician. So I think I don't know, he may even retire. Who knows? Or probably will have a few more fights, but if he doesn't manage to win another world title or get a shot, soon, I think he will probably retire. So that was Warrington versus Lopez. And then I watched these two fights later on the next day, which was yesterday, of course. Teofimo Lopez versus Sander Martin was a pretty good fight, pretty entertaining. I thought that kind of, Probably Martin actually deserved to win this. Me probably not for sure, but I actually scored 195-94 because of the knockdown. Otherwise, I would have scored a draw. But yeah, Martin was became the second man or Martin to knock down Teofimo Lopez. I don't think anybody has done it before, and was a beautiful counterpunch. So that's his main strength in this fight was counterpunching. He was able to counterpunch very well in many of those rounds. Sometimes he would be more aggressive, but Teofimo was the aggressor most of the time, but he wasn't always able to be effective with his aggression or with his punches. And Martin just kind of fought a really smart fight, and I thought he probably deserved at least a draw. So this was a split decision win for Teofimo, and that kind of surprised me when I first saw the result because I knew that since it was in over there in America, that it had to be a very close fight for Martin to get a decision from one of the judges. He doesn't have they don't have any, they don't have any political interest, put it that way, to score a fight for him unless he really earned it. So I see several people also think that Teofimo should have lost that fight or that he didn't really look impressive. So now, it's coming out. He is not as good as many thought he was. And of course, to be completely honest, I didn't think he actually deserved to win against Lomachenko either. I had that fight a draw, but all right, that's already happened. That's in the past. So I think that his ego simply got the better of him, and he was expecting surely to knock out Martin or just win by a shutout, and then he got dropped, and everything became too real, to put it that way, for him. The dream bubble burst, and yeah, I mean, I've actually talked to him. I can brag to put it that way. I've talked to him on the phone, and yeah, I mean, he sounded over. I mean, it's not like he was very arrogant, but some of those things he said did kind of sound. I mean, he was very polite, but some of the things he said kind of sounded. When I asked him about fighting Lomachenko again, he was like, "No, why would I fight him? I already beat him." It's like he beat him by 10 rounds or something, 10-2 or 9-3. Come on, it's not like that. It wasn't anywhere near wide as that. So, I mean, he did win many rounds, like at least five, but he wasn't able to kind of get Martin to knock him off his comfort zone to really, put him in trouble, in peril, any kind of, serious harm. I mean, I never really hurt him, throughout the whole fight. Landed plenty of punches, but not all of them were really, clean or effective. So that's what happens. Now we know that usually when he fails to stop or hurt his opponent, you know, he fails to win. And the thing about Lomachenko, I must mention one more thing. We know that he had a shoulder injury not that long before that fight, so that obviously kind of affected him because I think that now if they fight, I mean, forget how poor Lomachenko they say looked against that guy in the recent fight. I think that Lomachenko would probably beat him now. So anyway, Sandor Martin kind of got robbed, even though it was close. But yeah, I think he deserved at least a draw. So that was a fight. And in the end, Terence Crawford versus David Avanesian. That was quite a fight. Actually, when I saw that Crawford, when I heard that Crawford had knocked out Avanesyan in 6 rounds, I was like, must have been pretty poor showing by Avanesyan. But no, it wasn't actually. He landed several big shots and it kind of hurt, Crawford, but not enough, unfortunately, for Avanesyan. But it was Crawford just kind of landed this straight, short right, counter right hand, which put him out cold. And that was wow. This guy actually can punch. He actually can knock you out with one punch. I mean, but he doesn't do that often, simply. As I said before, I mean, Avanesyan has been stopped in 6 rounds before by Kavaliauskas, but that wasn't actually due to one punch. I mean, this is a finishing punch. It was like several punches, and he was stopped on his feet, if I remember correctly. So this was a really wow, KTFO, as we like to call it. So yeah, it was quite amazing achievement by Crawford, and I think if Errol Spence was not that keen on fighting him, I don't know who's to blame, but I guess it's more Errol than Terence. Then I don't think he will be any much more keener to fight him now. Terence Crawford is just he's the real deal. He's now 39 and old, 30 knockouts. And even though he's not kind of approaching, that age when you start to decline, he obviously hasn't declined at all. So kudos to him. So yeah, those were the big fights of last week, and yeah, there was of course also Ebony Bridges who fought and stopped actually her opponent. Shannon Courtney or something. I don't know. She looked very unsympathetic, that woman. And I hear that I didn't see that, but she kind of gave the audience the finger after the announcement of the results. So that was very rude, of course. All right, so that would be all for now. See you. Tata.